Yo, it's your boy Recruit Zero here, live, render ATL. Yo, we're just knocking them out. We're meeting all these amazing tech experts and just bringing you the knowledge you need to know in all these different segments of the industry. Of course, we got,
on the best side, the left side, Uncle Charles, we here, baby.
exactly, and with us, we have data and AI expert Kierra, and I'm gonna let you introduce him, let the people know exactly what you do.
Okay, yeah. Hey, y'all. I am Kierra, aka the Data Conversationalist. I am a data and AI strategy consultancy for expert, where I have my own consultancy and firm. I also do data and AI career coaching, as well as data content creation. I also am a speaker now. I just got through speaking about AI agents for PMs here at Render, and I have about 4 more of these to go this year.
Nice, nice. So I know your talk was on Agentic AI. So explain exactly what that is for the audience before we dive into it.
Yeah, so Agentic AI is basically software that's able to perform tasks for you and make decisions on behalf of humans without human input. So you can think about this as, ChatGPT. You use this all the time, and it has this feature where you can search the internet. You also might use this for any of the coding assistants that you see coming out, where people are typing in prompts and it'll immediately build them out a website. And then also the oldest one that a lot of us know, Siri and Alexa. We talk to Siri, we tell it to schedule, a task or a meeting in our phones, and boom, it's there. So that's what Agentic AI is.
Okay, cool.
So we all, I know the promises of Agentic AI, right? And then there's a part of me that's like, do I want AI controlling my devices to that degree, or taking action when I could just do it myself, right? So we've talked to people who said, let AI be an extension and not replace everything. What would be the appropriate balance when it comes to Agentic AI, and what would let it, take control over or give access to?
Yeah, sure. So from the developer's perspective, I still don't think that we should give full autonomy to AI agents, mainly because the AI is only good as the data that we feed to it. And I know a lot of us are seeing these lawsuits coming out where, lawyers using ChatGPT for, in their court cases, and those cases don't even exist. Or worse, there's bias when people are trying to apply for mortgages and they're getting declined because they're Black and things like that. So it's not the AI that's the issue, it's actually the data behind it, and there's a lot of bias in it. This is why I also think that there needs to be more Black voices when it comes to data and AI governance, to help make sure that our voices are heard and to make sure that these systems are not harming us. So as far as when it comes to dealing with making sure we're not giving too much of our information, there is a push and pull. I know that a lot of people use AI because of the convenience, but you do have to be careful. One of the things I've recently talked about my friends with is a lot of people are using ChatGPT as therapy.
Yeah.
But you have to think about, when you're giving information to ChatGPT, other people might eventually be able to pull that information. Like somebody might be like, hey, how was Kierra feeling? Or what are the pain points that she's had in life? I wouldn't want that, especially as I'm becoming more of a public figure.
Yeah.
Because that could be used against you. So you definitely want to be careful to talk about, to enter your information in these systems. Also, you do want to talk to companies and see about data privacy. How long are you able to retain this information? Can I have this deleted? These are some of the things that we're talking about more in regulation. We'll see more and more of that, especially with the EU. They're very good with data privacy laws, but I'm hoping that the US is better about that, especially because I do understand the impact of these systems on Black and brown people.
Yeah.
Right. Because I just saw a news article that was talking about how the courts ruled that, I think, OpenAI, they can't delete certain stuff from the cloud just from a legal standpoint. So even when you delete your session, it's not deleted off their server, it's just not in your instance of ChatGPT. So
exactly.
Yeah.
It's very similar to I read about this, don't try it from me.
Yeah.
But court cases where they pull up your text messages, but you deleted them on your phone.
Right.
They have the ability, it's the same thing
from the network.
with
Right.
ChatGPT. So you do have to be careful what you're talking about. And think about the implications of that, especially because as more and more, social media is becoming rampant. People are kind of doing anything and putting it out publicly.
Right.
You can delete it now, but there's no telling who can pull that up later. So
Right.
you do really need to pay attention to your actions. It might seem cool because everybody else is doing it, until you come to a point where something happened and you really don't need your business out there like that.
That's true, that's true.
You talked about earlier, you had mentioned us being with AI, right? In the sense of in the data, in the training, and making sure that our voices are being heard. What are some ways that people who are interested in getting into the field of AI, who maybe have a little bit of technical expertise, maybe don't have any, but are just really interested and they use it a lot, how can they get involved in the space and involved in working with these companies, if it's possible?
Oh yeah, it's definitely possible, and it's not as difficult as one may think. So the best way to get started is to use the tools that a lot of everyday people are using already. ChatGPT. Understand and use some of the features you might see, like there's a search the web feature. There's a part where you can do images. Also playing around like with Copilot. There's another one called Lovable, which is a website builder. Go there and ask it to help you go down, a website of your interest. Like let's say that you like to bake cakes. So you'll just say, hey, could you build me out like a landing page or a website for a person that's starting up a bakery and they want to specialize in cakes?
Right.
You don't have to actually turn it into a business, but you're understanding how AI is able to build those things. And it'll help you to get in the mindset of how that works. It'll also help you with prompting because a lot of people don't understand. The prompts are what helps the AI to be able to understand what you want to create. So once you get better at describing yourself to those AI agents, they'll be better at giving you outputs. It's very much like communicating with human beings. If I'm very vague with you, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. So you cannot be vague with the agentic AI systems either. As far as schooling and education, so I do recommend going on Google. They have a AI course that's free. It's about 10 hours long.
Okay.
But it's Google. So you can use that certification as a way for you to even get your foot in the door and so you have a more of a technical expertise. You also can go on YouTube. I love YouTube because it's free 99. Especially if you decide you need to pivot and you don't want to do that no more. There's no lock.
Right.
So Google has a lot of actual people explaining, what AI is, the different components of it. And then also people have something where you can build with them and create projects using AI as well as coding and making AI systems. So it's a very easy way to get started. Those people walk you through those tutorials. And you don't always have to get a degree. At this point, a lot of companies are asking for the expertise just because they need it ASAP. They want systems ASAP. They want to look good. Everybody's going to pursue something new every day. So they need people that are like more expertise versus did you go to college for 4 years, 4.0 and all that. So it's a really good way to get your foot in the door because they're going to take you over the college graduate because you've built out a system, or even if it's a pet project versus, the new grad, they went to college, but they don't know anything about AI. They need somebody who can build now.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So with that, I want to kind of pivot back to the agentic AI stuff. We spoke to a dating app founder where they use agents within the app. And we talked about kind of the anthropomorphism, sorry, it's been a long day, of the AI agents where people were, because it's intimate conversations on the app and people were starting to like get intimately attached to the AI agent.
Yes.
So where do you see that with like other segments of things that you may encounter, and where would you see the way to kind of counteract those things and make sure there's that hard delineation of this is a machine, like even though it could pattern match and like tell you what you want to hear, like you said with the therapy, understand this is not a person.
Right. Exactly. I'm glad that you brought up the pattern matching. So at this point, Gen AI, especially when you're dealing with language models, is what they call them because you're going to be they're outputting text to you. It's literally just advanced autocorrect.
Right.
And like you said, it's pattern matching. It just looks at a bunch of words, or it basically looks at like a bunch of books, and it counts how many times it sees the same sentences in word structure formed over and over again. And then based off of what you give it, it uses that knowledge from that sentence structure to give you something. So it does not have any type of conscious.
Right.
It does not understand emotions. It does not have, actual real like brain synapses like an actual human does.
Right.
So it's not even mimicking it. It's still software at the end of the day, and people have to keep that in mind. There's no human element coming through whenever you're talking to it. It's very much one-sided.
Right.
So with that being said, people do need to keep that in mind. I think that of course it will be rampant because a lot of companies will play into that. I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all seen the AI girlfriends and all of that stuff like that. I understand that with the race of social media and, everybody being on their phones, people are lonely because they're not going, and it sounds funny, but touching grass.
Right.
And because of this, I do think that there's going to be a turning point where people are going to crave human connection because we're too online. And I think that there's actually going to be a huge market for that very soon. With that being said, I do want people to be very aware that a lot of times these systems or these AI agents are trained to and not have a certain persona on how to respond back to you.
Right.
So they're always going to do it in a way that is going to make you want to crave or come back. Very similar to how we get served ads and makes you want to buy.
Right.
That you can technically say the way ChatGPT comes back at you, it can be like an ad if it's more so emotional.
Exactly.
So you do. While I understand there are people who don't have the resources to get therapy and all of that stuff, that work, I understand it. But you do have to keep that in mind because as we saw, there were people that were harming themselves just from talking to ChatGPT. And that can be really scary, especially for the youth, because they don't have the critical thinking skills to understand and separate what's actual real world from just a software component that's just going to say anything because they want you to return back to their site.
So what are some things that are exciting you about agentic AI, right? Because they talk about AI as like, it was ChatGPT 3, then ChatGPT 4, and that was like LLMs in the chat. Then I guess this next phase is supposed to be agentic AI, and then at some point we're supposed to get to AGI. I guess maybe one day, but since we're in this kind of phase where I want to say it's mature, but we're starting to get more understanding and allowing it to kind of access different things, what is starting to excite you about what possibilities are available with agentic AI?
Yes, so I'm actually really excited from an entrepreneurship point of view, especially for Black people. AI can really help you with outsourcing or getting a lot of tasks done that you typically don't want to do, especially if you're like a all-in-one person that's only, one-man show.
Yeah.
For instance, there's agents that can help you with cold outreach, where it'll go and find whatever, your target market is, and go find those people and email them for you. That saved a lot of time. You can set that up. You also could do something where even if it's replying to emails, or if you need to sift through and find, certain demographics of who to sell to, or based off of what your customers like, what are new ideas that you should be coming up with to cater to them. Also, it's very simple like that, and I think it's very cost effective, and I think it also just frees people up to do the things that matter most, especially when it comes to affecting their bottom line. And I also think that this agentic AI actually opens up a lot of opportunities for us in the market, just with a bunch of the AI engineer roles, data governance roles, and also there is no AI without data.
Right.
So I know a lot of people like to forget, data's boring, there's no data science, whatever. No, it's picking up more than ever because those data roles are the ones that give data to the AI.
Right.
So if you want to become a data engineer, and then I even tell people when you're getting started in data and you don't have a technical background, even being a data analyst and helping to build out dashboards that just show data that companies can use is amazing, and it's very lucrative. I know that it's not much talk about it, but that's because people are most so focused on hype, whatever's going to get people's attention.
Right.
But data is really where it's at, and it touches across all the different mini ecosystems in the tech world.
Gotcha.
Do you think we'll ever get to a place where, let's say I have a company, right? And I know you can do it now, but I want to say maybe it would be easier to start saying like, hey, here's my data, and let me start making my own model to do the things that I need it to be, versus just going to ChatGPT online and giving it my data. We do it in the reverse, and we say, here's my data, and I want to use this kind of locally. Do you think that that's something that's going to be, has it happened, or will it be happening soon and you'll be able to take advantage of?
Oh yeah, it's definitely happening. Of course, it's just not as rampant because, the LLMs are just big. There's something called small language models as well. They just have a smaller context or understanding of what's going on. It's more niche, especially if you let's say you only want to focus on healthcare, or you only want to focus on the entertainment industry or the food industry. It's very possible. Lots of companies are doing today. Like Netflix, they just created their own entertainment large language model to handle just dealing with theirs.
Okay.
And then there was another financial company that created theirs just for their financial data. But I say that just when you see big companies do stuff, you can do it on a lower level too. I believe there's a model called Llama. It's more so smaller, and of course, a lot of people are using that, especially if you want to be on-prem. You don't want to be in the cloud. You want to stay local and build your own stuff.
Right.
You can. And then there's also a thing called fine-tuning, where you can take a pre-existing model, and then if you have your own data, you can retrain it on that to where it's more customized to whatever your needs are.
Because, I've seen people daisy chain and Mac minis together to build their own stuff like that. So
even with Raspberry Pis, it's very possible to build your own local model at home. And if you even want to have that for your own cloud system, there's something called a NAS. So it's your own internal cloud system you can have at home in case you don't trust or want to use GCP or AWS or anything to store your photos and information and stuff like that.
So we had somebody on earlier, and we talked about AI taking some of the entry-level coding jobs, right?
Yeah.
Because they can just, they're just so much quicker and efficient sometimes in bringing someone on and training them up. When we think about the jobs that might be taken, right? A lot of the entry-level software jobs, entry-level business jobs, white-collar jobs. What are some of the new jobs or opportunities that might come from it, right? So when one door closes, another one opens.
Yes.
True, those entry-level jobs are closing. Does that mean maybe more opportunities for entrepreneurship because AI is so good, or does it look different in their business space? Could you talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually love this subject because, yes, there is a lot of fear mongering with the AI is taking your job. I'm going to be honest. A lot of people are trying to trick you out your spot. A lot of people are trying to trick you out your spot. So they say that so you don't even try to get into tech or even to advance yourself. So this is the AI revolution. What was before that? Industrial. What was before that? Agriculture.
Right.
And with that, job roles have changed, different needs have shifted. It hasn't been a whole segment of people died off randomly because there was no role.
Right.
People had to learn to adapt and go to a new role. So this is the same thing in the age of AI. We're humans. There's always patterns in history, and we just have to pay attention to how that works just to put yourself in position so where you're early and you don't have to deal with the after effects of it. So with that being said, yeah, there will still be tech roles. There'll still be coding roles. It's just that how the roles and responsibilities within those have changed over time as AI is there. So I know that a lot of companies like to say, oh, we're AI first. We're not going to hire anybody. We're just going to use AI to take care of everything. I'm not sure if you've seen the headlines, but some of those companies have already had to walk that back because they're realizing how expensive AI is and how little it can actually do compared to what they thought, because they've been paying attention to the big people that are lying and saying, oh, yeah, AI is taking everything.
Exactly.
Saying that because they're marketers. Like, look at the industry that they're in. They're going to say that because they want you to buy into whatever they're selling. And it's also that scarcity mindset that really makes them money.
Right. Yeah.
So with that being said, I know that there are a lot of junior coders that are, feeling the heat from this tech market. It is brutal. The best thing I can say about that is similar to what I said earlier, building out projects. Everybody has, a degree or, they just started out, they did simple ones. You want to build out projects and you want to do it with systems thinking.
Right.
So systems thinking is more so, it really deals with strategy and like planning and more like a little bit of architecture, but it's talking about, here's a goal. How do I reach that goal regardless of how, I'm coding it or it's being built?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we're using software is just a tool. The software is the tool to help people the businesses make money. So either they're making money, they're cutting costs, or they're making the processes more efficient. So it's your duty to find out whatever industry it is you want to get into. Let's say that you want to be a healthcare data engineer or a software engineer. What type of problems are they having in the healthcare industry that software engineers would actually go and do?
Right.
So one of those can be, maybe you're building out a platform or something to help with speeding up response rates in the ER. There's a country or there's a hospital that's having a really hard time finding enough staff during that time. So you build out, that's a use case. So you built out a platform to support that. They're going to care more so about you solving the job or actually creating business incomes than whatever programming language you use to build this platform, anything like that, especially with the execs. They don't care and they don't even know that stuff. And that's also why there's a lot of AI projects that are failing. It's because they see, influencers, all these people hype it up, and they're like, oh, I just buy this, and it's magical, and it just works.
Yeah.
And that's not how that happens.
Right.
So, and then to this point, to finish this up, because CEOs don't have the technical wherewithal to understand all of this, they're freaking out right now.
Right.
So back in the past, when you were a CEO or, an exec, you actually have like 3 to 5 years to make something shape within your time. Now you have like 15 months.
Right.
And it's because investors are really trying to seek returns on their money. And it's like, you're in, if you're like, you come in, what can you do? Oh, you can't do it, you're out. Somebody else come do it. Can you fix it? Oh, you can't. Oh, you're out.
Right.
So I think that's also a lot of why the layoffs are happening and why they're also antsy. They're nervous. They might seem great with their packages, their bonuses and all that, but they're nervous. And a lot of times because they, feel embarrassment, of course, it's not easy to say, oh, I failed.
Of course.
They'll go off and start their own societies and stuff like that. So to avoid that. But I think that what they need to do is be more mindful of and have empathy for like the technical workers.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to help them to make, really good products. And also it's going to improve company morale. More people want to stay at a company when they feel like they're being supported and
For sure.
So that's my spiel.
All right.
It's a good one. I think you hit on something that we've heard multiple times of it's time to start building projects, right? We've heard from different people in different fields of tech say in many different ways, like it's not enough to just have the degree or have the certification.
Yeah.
It's about building something.
Right.
Whether you use it to make money or you're just using it to just, have a good time and learn,
Right.
that goes way further than just trying to blindly submit, that resume. I want to switch gears because there's one thing I haven't talked about. All render, and I think you would be the perfect person to kind of have that conversation with is sustainability.
Oh yes.
The word that no
Lord.
one mentions, right?
Yeah.
And these data centers. I've seen a couple reports of like how much water. I know they say it's on a closed loop system.
Yes.
But I saw something on the news not too long ago of a small town that like lived next to a data center, and they were just talking about how their water's brown coming out the faucet now because I think it was Meta took all the resources for that, so the town gets left with just kind of those things. I want to talk just a little bit about that, like
Right.
our love technology, we love it, but are we killing the planet and like moving at light speed with AI? So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, actually, I love talking about this subject because while, data and AI is cool, I do like to talk about the realities of what's going on and how it affects not only, us as Black people, but just the community or the planet as well. I will say this, it might sound a little crazy, but the Earth has been around for like way longer than we've even be here. So regardless of how we damage it, it's going to be okay. It's really us that needs to worry. Because the thing is, I know the ozone layer is, getting depleted. There's not water. Earth will find some way to adapt. We just won't survive.
Yeah.
Because we, it's like the same thing with like dinosaurs or whatever. They evolved over time.
Right.
So something's going to evolve. We just won't make it. And that's what I think people really need to focus on. Because they're just thinking about the Earth. No, it's like you, bro. Like you're the one that's trying to build these data science centers. Like even your generations to come might not be here because of your effects on that.
Right. For sure.
But with that being said, yes. The data centers are being bought out. There was a nuclear power plant that just got bought and it was shut down. And I think it's going to take a few years for them to get it running again. But they're buying nuclear power plants. Like, it's insane.
Right.
And I understand that we need a lot of water to power these. The issue that comes with me about it is we're not making that much advancement in this field for us to be buying like that. What happens is people are trying to brute force and do the same thing over and over again to force AI to work.
Right.
And it's just because they're trying to train data. But it's broken. So you need to figure out how to fix it.
Right.
If it wasn't broken, then we don't need to fix it. But it's broken. We're not really making advances in how good these models are. So there needs to be another approach, whether it's looking at different algorithms and math problems or whatever. All the fancy stuff, I don't know or don't even ask me, but that's really what it boils down to.
Right.
Because we're going to get to a point where, it's going to be really bad. Water's going to be scarce. There's going to be more communities affected. And the thing is, imagine you just bought a home, Meta shows up, and now you don't have water. And if you do, it's really bad quality.
Right.
That's really infuriating. So I'm really hoping that eventually these companies really will sit down with themselves and figure out a new approach because it's just not working and it's more harmful to everybody. And it's expensive. Like, why are you burning through billions and you're seeing it's not working?
Right.
Figure it out.
Right.
And we seen like DeepSeek come, right? Was able to do more with less.
Yeah.
And just other models that are, starting to come out, and some are starting to do more mobile models that, maybe not be the fastest, but can still get things done.
Right.
With speed. I mean, so I want to ask you this question. I've heard people say, hey, use AI less if you care about sustainability. Or use it for the things that really matter. Don't ask it for things that you could maybe just Google or things like. Does that matter as much, or can we continue to use AI as much as we do, or should we pull back some if we care about like sustainability and those things?
So this is a really tough question because yes, especially as a data and AI grad consultant, I have to research and do this stuff because it's my job. But as much as I would like to say pull back, I don't think that the Black community should do that at all because we're the ones that usually are the ones that are the last when it comes to hopping onto advancements and anything like that, especially as our wealth and all that stuff that we have is decreasing over time. In fact, I think that we should be pushing even more to learn this stuff. And at the end of the day, the little prompts and things that we type in a chat GPT is nothing compared to what the actual companies are doing. that's at the head of this. They're the ones that's really affecting it.
Right.
I mean, yes, I understand there's a talk some, oh, you just cut down a tree by prompting, but there's like people are wiping out like tons of forests every day just by training their model.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we all have to eat. So I understand that's also that's a part of sustainability for humans.
Yeah.
Like, so I think people should focus more so about themselves and what they can do to stay ahead when it comes to AI versus, you know, oh, we have to stop and not do it. Because the thing is, even if our community stops, all the other ones are going to keep going. And then look at us. Now we have nothing, and then we're also even further behind.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know it's not the most, like, socially acceptable answer, but that's just the reality of the situation that we're dealing with. And we have to really make do with what we have and understand how to get ahead when we can.
So as we wrap up, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to the audience on, you know, we talked about a bunch of different topics, but one takeaway that you would give to the audience to take from this episode?
Yeah. So I just don't think that any of you should be scared of AI at all. Like I said, it helps. It helps. It's a tool. It's a partner versus it being something that's going to take from you. And the more that you accept that and just come to terms with what's really happening, the easier time it will be for you. I think that this is a time where generational wealth, and I know that's sort of a crazy term that's always being used, it's a buzzword, but it can be created if you're on the right side of things and you get started now. Even if you're listening to this podcast right now, it might seem like you're late, but you're actually extremely early in the game. Many people don't even know about AI at all, you know, unless you're like online, especially chronically online. So I do recommend just getting started. You do not have to be perfect. You don't have to understand immediately when you first start. It's very much like learning a language, learning how to ride a bike. Repetition is one that's going to help you to be able to soak those things in and understand how to learn and what to learn. Also, the best way to also learn AI is just to figure out how to use it in your day-to-day. So let's say that you're like a customer support job, figuring out how you would use AI to help you categorize tickets or anything like that. There's so many ways that you can figure that out. And also, the best way to figure this out is to ask ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, I currently do this. How can I use AI to help me, you know, help automate some of the things in my role so I can focus on other things and also appeal to, you know, hiring managers or whoever it is later down the line if I do need to pivot into a AI adjacent role.
That makes sense. So, I mean, you heard it from us. Experts, we bring you all the knowledge you need to keep up to date, keep shining in these fields. So we appreciate all the information. This was amazing. And go experiment with some agentic AI.
Don't be scared.
Don't get tricked out your spot.
Hello.
And keep watching Ultimate Blerds. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.